Hey there, welcome to episode 2026-03-2801 of the Coffee Solo audio program. We're recording this at 7:55 p.m. on Saturday, March 28, 2026. This is thus episode 2026-03 for March 28, the date of the day, and 01, the first episode of today. If you're not familiar with DNS record serial numbers, it's basically that. Today's title and topic: delay of lame. Yes, I will start off by saying the thing is not lame, but if we didn't delay it, it might have turned out that way. If you are not familiar, the Coffee Solo audio program does not have a schedule. It does not have an agenda, so anything goes. It's pretty much just me by design. It's right there in the name. It was initially published only on Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/DanHugo/posts. That's one of the links in the link section. But I found that if you publish a podcast on a platform that doesn't really do podcast stuff, like an RSS feed, it doesn't really work out. So I publish it there first. And then I was just trying to do something interesting on the platform. I did sign up for Ko-fi.com in March of 2021. So 5 years, the 5-year anniversary month. I don't know exactly which day it was, but the 5-year anniversary month is about to come to an end. I will probably stop pointing that out so regularly. So anyway, I wanted to do something different or interesting, see what happens. I didn't really get any interest, even though it was different and interesting. So, but I keep it up. I keep publishing it to Ko-fi.com. Just, who knows? Why not? And then I publish it also to the usual Spotify for Creators, which I'm getting a little bit tired of. Spotify for Creators, which then publishes it on to Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Is it on iHeartRadio? I cannot remember. And then it creates a YouTube post, and then YouTube converts it to a single frame video, and then sometimes later marks it as private, which is goofy. It does that to all of my audio programs. And I know exactly how I'm going to try to fix that with automation, using Playwright, probably. I was toying with trying to get the API, the YouTube data API on there, sign up and get the permissions and everything. And I might do that after. So I'll do it with Playwright first and see how that works out. It's a very simple, just gotta connect to the studio, look at the list of videos, see if any of them are marked private, toggle them to public, and then reset the sort order of the podcast so it's newest first by published, because otherwise it, like a side effect of whatever they're doing to mark the video private is they break the sort order of the podcast. And I don't know if that really has any impact on anybody's lives, but just to put it back the way it should be. So it's not a lot of Playwright coding. I just have to get around to doing it. So anyway, there's that. So the audio program appears first on Ko-fi.com. Ko-fi. Is that spelled coffee? I don't know. Coffee Solo. I pronounce it like that because there's no hyphen, but whatever. And then usually about 2 hours, but I don't really have a hard and fast rule. I publish it, like I said, Spotify, and then it goes to the other places. Piece of cake. So let's get on with the show. The summary of today's episode: the Smarter Smart City Challenge, which I am attempting to put together as a year-long challenge to include anyone with any ideas to make our smart city smarter, has been deferred to January of 2027 and some other stuff. So I already told you about Ko-fi.com/DanHugo/posts. If you happen to be listening to this audio program from Ko-fi.com, that is not the first link you will see because you're already there. The Ko-fi programs are also linked from my personal vanity domain, danhugo.com. It continues to be ugly. So, yeah. The profile page linking everything, buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo. Now, Ko-fi.com does not really have a free-form profile page, as does Buy Me a Coffee. So I signed up for buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo also 5 years ago in March. And there you will find links to all of my audio programs, including Ko-fi.com and Buy Me an Update, which is published on buymeacoffee.com/danhugo/posts for kind of the same reasons. It is a 5 minutes or less update, quick summary of the previous week's audio programs, and then any news and announcements upcoming, published every Monday morning. So there you go. Those are the links as usual. I haven't really added any links here. I don't really want to make this into a study program. It's just me yapping. So that could change. But like, for example, I think today, I could have put the link to the New York Times article, but this will be a topic of discussion through the year by many people, not just me, when we get to that one. So I usually choose the title based on the first item I want to talk about. So I'm not saying the Smarter Smart City Challenge is lame. But I am saying that if we tried to do it for 2026, as was the initial idea, it would have ended up being lame. Allow me to explain. So the Greater Vegas area has a real problem with the culture of innovation, which it really doesn't have. Not really. So I had this notion in late January, like, what if we just cast a huge net? Like, hey, anybody in Vegas, anybody that has any ideas, if you look around and you're like, I wish they would fix that, or I wish this would be better. I wish I could get access to that information more easily. I wish this was translated into the language that my parents speak, or, whatever. Or clearly, I wish this was more accessible. There are countless. I've read that Vegas is one of the more accessible cities. I think it's one person who judges the Strip. So they walk along on the Strip and they're like, oh, I'm having no problems getting around. Maybe they use a wheelchair. Maybe they use some other means to get around. But usually it's one person writing some article like, oh, this is one of the best accessible cities. But if you look around Vegas and you actually try to move around Vegas, you'll find countless examples where things are not thought out, things are not repaired, things are not designed with accessibility in mind. They're never addressed. So there's a street crossing near me. It's been like this for the entire time I've lived in Vegas. I've moved, but it's still like this. So it happens to be an intersection that I would walk through frequently. So I saw this and I started to notice like the crosswalk button is on the other side of like some landscaping that if I was in a wheelchair, I would never be able to reach the crosswalk button to press it. And the intersection in question leads to a freeway. So it's not an access road, but it's perpendicular to a freeway. So the on and off ramps are about, I don't know, eighth of a mile, quarter mile, somewhere between there. So, you're getting heading for or heading from the freeway traffic in one direction, in one of the intersection directions. And then the other one is a sort of a normal residential street. It's a little bit high capacity, but not as, so the two different types of traffic. So if I need to get to that button across the street and I'm in a wheelchair, I'm kind of out of luck. Here's the deal. It's been like that for 13 years that I've lived here. And anytime I show it to someone, like in a photo, 80% of the time people think, what's the shadow or something? But about 20% of the time you'll get people that say, oh, how can you reach that button from there? Right. And the intersection does have ADA compliant ramps with the yellow, bumpy, non-slip terrain, right? So you don't go rolling into the intersection. So somebody clearly thought this through halfway. And my contention is, A, they didn't have somebody who knows what's supposed to happen try it out, right? Like have someone who's going to need this intersection roll through it a couple times. Like, oh, you know what? I can't get to that button. But not the case. But also, and Clark County and the city of Las Vegas both use a service called C-Click-Fix, where you're supposed to be able to report things, traffic light problems, intersection problems, abandoned vehicles. So there's all kinds of stuff that's basically a combination of public works and maybe, I don't know what a derelict vehicle would be. It's not public works, but it's like, I don't know. But either way, so there's a whole bunch of ways you can file bugs, essentially, for your community. It's not totally clear that people understand that and take advantage of it. So either way, this has been like this for 13 years. That's just one example. So my view was, hey, what if we opened the floodgates and said, anybody who's noticed the one thing, occasionally people will put street signs, like detour signs, which are usually mounted on like metal square tubing, like square steel tubing frames with like a spring to deal with the wind. So it's pretty heavy duty. So they'll drag them up out of the street and put them on the sidewalk. And one of the sidewalks in question, and this is I live in the sort of the north part of the city of Las Vegas, northwest area. So there are a few unimproved sidewalks or sort of asphalt, but not properly, completed. And so you'll get a sidewalk with a square curb, asphalt, reasonably smooth surface, right? Can be navigated by a wheelchair, bicycle, etc. But then that will go off into gravel, grass, right? So it's not a smooth transition. So if you're on a wheelchair, you're pretty much on the sidewalk. You're not going to go deviating. And this will be for the full block, right? Like 200 yards. It's a long block. And so you'll see traffic signs moved up on, temporary traffic signs moved up on there blocking the sidewalk. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're done. You got to go back and, good luck. So this is a mindset thing. It's not accountability. There's a lack of accountability. There are some other issues I would like to see fixed, like debris in bike lanes. People in Vegas like to ride their bicycles on sidewalks. So especially young people, and they'll go zooming by because e-bikes are now a thing. So there's all manner of things that would fall into hey, I think we could do this better. And so you listen to people that live in a locality. So smart city, people will often think, a smart city, that means like internet and cameras and drones and robots wandering the street. And that might be true. But and I have a couple of articles like, a smart city is really about making life better for the people that live in it. And it doesn't have to be technology. So that's the take home. So the notion was this: emergency vehicle. Hopefully somebody is being saved from that intersection, perhaps. There's going to be, there we go. That was pretty loud. I assume that made it to the mic. Production by street. So the notion was to open the floodgates, as I said, to allow people to contribute to their smarter smart city in any number of ways, right? Really no rules. So, and any age, right? You don't have to be 18 plus. Vegas has a huge problem with, we're having this big event to celebrate innovation. It's going to be a 21 plus event. You're like, do you have to be 21 to innovate? No. So any age, although you do need parental permission, because I always tell people, bring them along. Include your parents in this if you're under 18. Everybody wins. And I've also been reaching out to teachers, and we'll get to that, why that was a problem. It was not a problem because they responded. And then trying to get the word out is a challenge and whatnot. So the plan was, I had some initial meetings during February to try to kick off the early adopter phase in March. So my plan was, let's see if we can get 150 people to sign up as early adopters. We'll finish some of the planning, right? Like should we have hackathons? How many? What do you think about prizes, incentive programs of some sort? And we can start reaching out to that because you can't really get sponsors for one person, me, right? So I figured, okay, I'll get 150 people signed up and they can help me get the word out. So they can tell their friends, talk to their neighbors, talk to people at work, right? And then my goal for the first year for 2026 would be 1,500 people participating in teams and whatnot. So number of projects would be, I'm going to guess, it'd be cool to get 150 to 300 projects, right? Teams of maybe up to 5 people, but no rules, do whatever you like. To be on multiple teams, do a couple projects, that giving the time from it was going to be March 1st. Start signing up early if you want to be in the early group. So March 1st to January 2027. So you got all year. Take your time. Don't feel like you're going to miss out because you couldn't go to that one hackathon to stay awake for 48 hours. Right? So open to parents, to kids, to grandparents, whatever. And do you have to be in Vegas? No, not really. So it's really just a big experiment. Now, I announced it on LinkedIn, and I knew what was going to happen. So I had a backup plan. So I know on LinkedIn, that's not my audience. I need to reach schools. I need to reach people that are in the startup scene. I hate that word. People that are kind of entrepreneurial, but who have time. So you can't have somebody, oh, I don't have any time for this. Like, you can spend a minute a week, but there's still this like, oh, I don't see what's in it for me. So there's going to be this like pushback from, put your air quotes up, busy people. But I figured, okay, students will be the most likely. I reached out to some STEM and innovation teachers on LinkedIn, described the basic idea, mostly did not hear back from people at all. Ghosting is the thing in Vegas. So, but if I connected to them, I invited them to follow the Smart City Vegas page. Now, if you don't read the page, there's no indication. You wouldn't really know right off the bat that this is a citywide challenge. So it might look like, oh, this is just a business and I don't care. It's facilitated by and fiscally sponsored by the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, which I happen to also be the managing director of. So this is a charity effort open to everyone. It's not a business. So that's a little bit of a hill to get over. But mostly the problem is no one cared. So I've been reaching out to teachers and they didn't really follow the page too often. A few did, not everybody. The superintendent of the Clark County School District is following the page. But so then I said, first of all, I need to get some press people, some people in the local press media, news media, to help with getting the word out. Tagged a bunch of people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn. Zero response, zero engagement, zero interest. Okay. Not surprised. Then I said, hey, teachers, leave us kids alone. Brick in the wall. So I reached out to teachers. I created a post and I said, awareness, interest and awareness. And I said, we need to reach out probably to more young people, but we're not going to reach out to young people because we don't want to be like soliciting under 18 for anything. So we really want parents and educators to be a part of this. It could be a class project. It could be anything you want. But we definitely don't want to be reaching out to kids directly because, that's just not the way to do it. So I tagged principals at schools, and it was probably like 15. I don't know, I'm guessing. And then I tagged superintendents, assistant superintendents, all that for a variety of places around, different parts of Clark County. And we have a weekly Wednesday online meetup, and I started it didn't start, but I created an event at a coffee shop in downtown Vegas, center of the area. I said, hey, educator meetup, let's chat about what this is so you know whether this is interesting. 0, 0, 0, 0, nothing. Not a single interest or indication of interest. Not even somebody reaching out and saying, what is this? Nothing. So I gave it a couple days. That was on Monday or Tuesday. I posted that, and then I gave it till Friday morning. And the coffee meetup was going to be on April 4th. So we had 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks for people to respond, react, accept an RSVP. Nothing. Got nothing. So at that moment, I was like, you know what? We're already at the end of March. So we're already 3 months into the year. We haven't even gotten a single person interested in any of this. So I'm like, I'm going to put this off until we're going to start it in January, and we'll spend the rest of this year trying to get early adoption from anyone. And I'm just not going to use LinkedIn anymore. And I'm definitely not going to reach out to teachers or press, local media anymore. It's a sad fact, but I'm finding it out empirically that the innovation culture in Vegas is not what people seem to believe it is. There are some people here that are entrepreneurial and innovative. I'm not saying it's zero, but it's definitely not what, the next Silicon Valley, that sort of framing, just not true. And it was I'm not going to say it wasn't even frustrating. It was more just confirming my suspicions or my concerns that if we did try to do something like this, it would not go well because no one would participate. And then we would have to, cancel it in failure. But now, since nobody took any interest whatsoever, we can just say, oh, we're going to start it in January. We'll start off for the whole year, January of 2027. And then I said in my post that, we need to get people interested in it. It's not through LinkedIn. So at the same time, Innovate for Vegas Foundation has the My Muni and Welcome initiatives that combine to the MuniBits platform. And then we're going to launch in Las Vegas as a monetizable deployment. And that will be like an information sharing platform that we actually can control. So rather than saying, hey, Channel 8, hey, Review Journal or Las Vegas Sun or Nevada Independent or Nevada Current or any number of, there's a bunch of smaller papers and TV media, radio, NPR, Nevada Public Radio, not the NPR you were thinking. So why not just launch a platform that we can make announcements like this? Well, I've found things like you cannot announce your startup. There's nowhere to do it other than at demo time, but at Tech Alley. And that is always 120 to 150-ish people. Maybe, I haven't been there in forever, 2 years or plus now, but you're not going to get access to hundreds of people. They have a YouTube live stream that if I view it during the live part, I am the one person watching it. So I really don't watch it very often because it's kind of garbage production quality is awful. But I have watched after. They'll post shorts and stuff, and those get some views. It's not clear to me that those are views of people that were also at the event. They just watch it later. Or if it's actually new people, that information is never reshared anywhere. You don't see it in the same mix as, the influencer content creators who want to talk about swimming pool parties and, how dead Vegas is and all that. So it's sort of this missing niche of like no information sharing. The Tech Alley website occasionally will try to do some sort of a news or a forum discussion or something. I don't see where those are valuable. So they just don't have. Well, first of all, Tech Alley is aimed at tech. It has it right in the name. Oh, I'm not in tech, so I don't know if this is for me. But if you live here, you should have more information access than we have, and there should be no gatekeeping by local press. So that's the notion. So we need to do those things and start reaching out to people without having to hope that teachers will principals and superintendents, to be honest, to be precise, reaching out to teachers was also something, but they're even worse. Got nothing. So I don't bother. So I'm not going to bother doing that. They can reach out to us. That'll be fine. So they will have to stumble upon this stuff again. So we'll just have the rest of the year to try to reach out to people. Ideally, some people will say, oh, you guys are working on these other things for Innovate for Vegas. Essentially, the idea is to have people on their own come up with ideas similar, not necessarily similar, but the motivation be similar to the motivation of our foundation, which is community elevation, try to fix obvious problems that have gone unnoticed or unaddressed. There's huge possibilities. And again, if you're going to claim to be a smart city, which Las Vegas does, it doesn't get ranked anywhere. Any articles about smart cities, no mention of Vegas. But Vegas has 38 million people visiting for 2025 and 41 million people visiting for 2024. So it's an interesting opportunity to do some things that a lot of people could come across. So some people will innovate in ways that will elevate their own neighborhoods, for example, and that's totally fine. That should be the first line of thinking anyway, right? But I'd like to see some people think outside that box. And that's not really a box, but that simplified boundary. So to think a little bit bigger, I think would be interesting. And I think it would be one of those aha moments for people who are thinking of being entrepreneurial. Like, oh, you know what? I can point my entrepreneurialism towards the places I live or work or how I get between them and so on, and mobility and so on. So, we can factor in accessibility because there's so many people coming here. You're going to get a nice cross section of, different people with different mobility issues, different vision or hearing impairments, etc. So there's all kinds of opportunities that could arise from this. We got to get people interested. That means they have to know about it. And LinkedIn is, as I say all the time, an abysmal failure when it comes to this. I hate LinkedIn so much. I joined LinkedIn. LinkedIn launched in May of 2003. I joined LinkedIn in August, and that one I can confirm in my profile or whatever. You can look up when you joined. I think it was August 11th, 2003. So I've had enough. 23 years, I think, is going to be about the end of it. I already stopped using it except for the networking part in 2003. Sorry, 2023. I said, 20 years is enough. I'm going to just use this for the, if you want to connect, you want to find me where I work, great. I'm not going to post. I'm not going to try to get followers and likes and all that crap. But then I started following people who do that for a living. And I'm really starting to see where LinkedIn is becoming an AI slop fest, and Instagram. I've literally seen people, I went from 0 to 45,000 followers. And if you look at their posts, it's 100% selfie posts. I don't even know what they do. So it's just Instagram. And then people, I'm a brand manager. I'm a profile manager. I'll help you develop your messaging on LinkedIn. Everybody's working in the LinkedIn universe. So I'm like, okay, great. Good for you. But I'm done with it. I'd rather work on the ground, close to the people. I sometimes wonder if I'm going to run for office someday, and I hope not. I really hope not. So I was thinking about going to see Project Hail Mary in a movie theater because it came out on the 20th. So it's been going gangbusters. Everybody loves it. Some people don't love it, but I have to be honest. I read the book a while ago. It is really an excellent book. I really enjoyed it more than The Martian. Artemis is not a good book. I guess they're going to turn that into a movie now. And then I saw something today that they're going to try Hail Mary 2. The book came to an end. There wasn't. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? But I think it's an excellent book for what it is in its niche. And I don't mean science fiction necessarily. It's like pure science. He tries to be very accurate. So pure science fiction with some other nuances and whatnot. So for example, Stranger in a Strange Land is also an excellent book, and it's better than Hail Mary, but in different ways. So it's a different book. So I think for what it is, I think the book, Project Hail Mary, really good, really, really good, worth a read, definitely. Movie, I'm like, but I read the book. I know there's at least 10 differences, and it's like, it's like spoilers, right? I already know what the book, and this is a common thing with any movie based on book, right? Oh, it's not like the book. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure how interested I am because I really did enjoy the book. Will I be disappointed by the movie because they did cut out a few things or change them? Or will I have forgotten by now? I don't know. But I've also sort of lost interest in the movie theater experience. Now, I have floated a notion that Vegas should have midnight movies because I don't think they do. This would be under the family-friendly entertainment, or, hey, you know what? Not everything has to be on the Strip, or not everything has to be on Fremont Street. You can go see a movie midnight when the temperatures are cooler, lower. We used to do that in Phoenix all the time. Midnight movies were where it was at. We used to go to the movies all the time, every weekend in the summer or whenever. I don't even know if it was on weekends, but whenever they were, we were seeing movies all the time. So I don't know why that's not a thing in Vegas. I would get rid of the first show in the morning. If there's a 10 a.m. show or something, I would get rid of that and I would have it at midnight. Nobody asked me, but something to think about. If and when we get the platform up and running, I would be all about promoting midnight movies in Las Vegas. Get them front row center, right? Get that out there so people are like, oh, I didn't even know we had those. So I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll think about, because I would reach out to movie theaters and I would just say, hey, would you be interested in this? And what's in it for you? Nothing at all. I just saw that I spelled bummed. It's completely wrong. One letter, but still wrong. So yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm going to see that movie. The last movie I saw in a theater, brace yourselves, was Rogue One. Rogue One. Because I saw Star Wars when it came out in 1977, I'm like, I always have a special place for Star Wars. And I did not care for the, now I didn't see, did I? I don't think I saw the first three and then I don't know what what are they called? The prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy or whatever they call them. I didn't see any of those movies in theaters because they were just weird. But I saw Rogue One and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Rogue One quite a bit because it seemed to me to have more of an attachment to the original Star Wars, which is now A New Hope, which is Star Wars number 4, so whatever. But that's the last time I was in a movie theater. After that, I'm like, I got my, I rarely watch, if I watch a full length movie, I just watch it on a screen at home. But I rarely watch movies. I'm much more inclined to watch like YouTube videos or documentaries, or I've kind of gotten back into serial shows. Like, they're not TV shows anymore, but Shrinking and what else? I watched the first episode of Sugar. I got to watch that. That looks pretty good. On Apple TV. These are both on Apple TV. I got a promo on Apple TV, so it's a couple bucks a month, like half off or something. So I'm like, they have some pretty good programs. I saw Pluribus and I saw Severance, both seasons. So yeah, there's some good stuff out there. Good times. And of course, a movie you watch for 2 hours or whatever. The shows, you can binge watch them. You can watch them once a week, whatever it is. So I'm not in orbit around a television anymore. When I was as a kid, I was more so. Then we got into the midnight movies, but I think now, not as big a deal. So I don't know we'll see if I go to the movie. I'll give it, let's see, there's something coming up. NAB is coming up next month, but I doubt that it'll be in theaters until then. But I think there's something coming up in early April. So if it's still in theaters, like next weekend, maybe, I'll ponder. But if it's not, it's not. And I'll just watch it on my, on a screen at home. So speaking of what's going on in Vegas. So the numbers are out for February of 2026, and the Vegas tourism, the tourism part of that, the numbers for actual visitors bumped up slightly. I think it was up by 2.1%, if I'm remembering correctly, from February of 2025. But 2025 was down from February of 2024. So I don't know if they compared it to 2024. That may be left to the reader. The tourism numbers have been like top of page for subject matter for local influencers and content creators. Vegas is dead. So there was an article, and these articles have been coming out over the recent months. So there was one today or yesterday, New York Times, about how Vegas is an indicator for the national economy. It may be an indicator for whether things are going to be going sort of bad or worse. And this may be true, but the resort business here has really put up some barriers for normal crowds. So I think if you don't look at the numbers, like what's going on, you may think, oh, fewer people are going to Vegas. But what you may want to note is Vegas has priced itself such that fewer people that don't make tons of money are going to Vegas. So rather than being an indicator for national economic confidence, disposable income, desire to, and nobody's traveling right now anyway, but desire to travel somewhere, to get away on a vacation, etc. So there are a couple of things that I think would throw that off, including the fact that people are priced out of having a fun weekend if you're just like a normal person. And so I think it was this New York Times article. I think it was this one. I just read something earlier today on Saturday. So it was either this New York Times article or something else that I bookmarked where, what's his name? Stevens, one of the resort, casino, resort, whatever, owners downtown, so in the city of Las Vegas, said, oh, this is the thing, we're not dead. Things are going fine. Our numbers are fine. Well, sure, because you're a resort and you are trying to bring in what they call a high value customer. So as long as you're making your numbers, you're fine. But here's the deal. Because Vegas continues to be a solipsistic nightmare where people really, I'm fine. Isn't everybody else fine? I don't even see anyone else. They've put up these barriers for normal crowds. And so by leaning into higher value visitors, which means fewer, they got more money than the popular visitors. So let's go with the higher value. So we won't have as many, but they got just as much money. They'll spend on the fees and they'll get the upscale rooms and whatnot. And so it may benefit the resorts, though it may not if they all share their numbers. It may not be going as well as they are saying. You don't want to tell everybody how bad things are right out front. But this definitely has an impact on the rest of the businesses in the Vegas area, which is basically non-resort businesses are seeing a general dive in revenue. So you have to remember that tourism covers paychecks for everyone who works in the fun economy, a trademark held by the University of Las Vegas, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, in the Office of Economic Development. They got that trademark on fun economy. So if you are working in the fun economy, gaming, professional sports, entertainment, tourism and conventions. Tourism is people just coming out here, go shopping, check out the music scene, who knows. So all these people that are in the fun economy working to enable it, they get paid. And so if there are fewer people coming here, that means people's hours get cut, they may get laid off. So fewer people are making money from tourism, which means they have less money to spend, or they have fewer paychecks, right? So they either have smaller or fewer paychecks to spend on local business. So locals cannot spend money at local restaurants and other local businesses. So then those businesses take a huge hit. So second and third order effects of this reduction in tourism in favor of a high value customer have these consequences that you don't really see them mentioned. All you'll see is it'll be one article, for example, Lucy Ethiopian is, there's an Ethiopian district, which is only a couple years old, 2 or 3 years old, I think. So the Ethiopian district has Ethiopian restaurants, Ethiopian cultural centers, right? It's a center of culture. I don't know how much they've built it out, but have I been to Lucy? I may have been to Lucy. Whatever the case, we had to lay off 4 people that have been here for many years working, and we have like a 70% reduction in revenue over the last year. You're like, oh, they're doing great. So, but you only get one article written on one restaurant. So one of the ideas for the information sharing platform is to begin to ask people in a structured way, hey, do you operate a business here? Is your business up or down? And to what do you attribute that? Obviously, this is something that should have been done over the last 2 years, but it will be interesting to see if we do that and if people actually respond. It'll be interesting to see how decisions made from the bourgeoisie of Vegas actually affect the proletariat. I'm not a Marxist, but you might know what those terms are. So the bourgeoisie are making these decisions like, yeah, let's tear up the streets every year and block traffic and break foot traffic, and we'll take down the trees that everybody likes at the Bellagio, and we'll wreak havoc for 2, 3, 4 weeks ahead of time. We'll do the race for a week, for 4 or 5 days, 4 days, I think it is, during that week. And then we'll spend a few more weeks putting everything back the way it was. The Venetian doesn't need to have the gondolas, right? We'll just turn that into seating. So there's all kinds of decisions that are made, and then small businesses don't get the same amount of business as the winners along the track and hosting special events and all that. So I see this time and time again. So basically transparency when it comes to some of the decisions made on high that affect so many and more people, not just so many, but more people than are affected in a positive way at the top of the scale, right? Everybody down at the bottom is like, oh, we kind of get screwed. So I think if that becomes more visible, it might be more interesting and certainly more educational. We'll see. We'll see if people actually buy that notion. But speaking of that, I do not have a car. I think I've mentioned this before. I walk by at least one gas station. I think technically two. Technically 2. If I were to walk through that intersection I mentioned, I could walk by a third one. So I walk by 2 gas stations. So I kind of see gas prices, and they've gone up by $1 here in the city of Las Vegas, where I am. I guess it's encouraging that they're not, it hasn't gone up by $5. So basically normal, I guess regular unleaded is $4.69 as of yesterday, and premium unleaded was $4.99. But what I don't get, and remember, every dollar spent on a gallon of gasoline is a dollar not spent on other local businesses. So there's still an impact, even though it doesn't seem huge, but it adds up. Aggregates matter. But I'm also bummed, correctly spelled now, that diesel fuel has gone up faster and I think it's $5.99 a gallon. And it was already more expensive than gasoline. So here's why that bothers me. Diesel is low grade fuel, right? It's literally designed. It's a lower octane. It's basically kerosene. That's sort of, It's refined, but it can be made more cheaply, and you don't it has a kind of a wider range of ignition because you pressurize it to ignite it. So it doesn't have to have as high an octane rating because you just have to compress it and you'll get combustion and you'll get power. It's great for high torque engines. It's self lubricating, so the your diesel engines are able to pump out more torque and they generally last a long time. So if you have a diesel car, it will last forever. If you have a super heavy diesel semi pulling loads all the time, that's putting a lot of load on the engine, but it will last longer than a gasoline engine trying to do the same thing. So high torque, high reliability, not great in cold weather. Got to heat up the diesel so it doesn't solidify. But kerosene fuels are, diesel is not exactly kerosene, but it's in the distillation column of petroleum products. It's down at that end. So I would have to look it up. I can't remember exactly what the composition is, so I guess I could right now real quickly. But the point is, it's supposed to be cheap and available. Diesel, kerosene. Kerosene and diesel are both petroleum distillates, but they are not directly interchangeable. Okay, so kerosene is lighter and thinner, so it comes from above diesel. Cleaner burning fuel that resists getting in gelling in cold weather, while diesel is heavier, oily, and provides higher lubricity for engine components. So that's good. Diesel is used for vehicles, whereas kerosene is often used in heating and as a winter blend. Isn't that good to know? So yeah, it's down near the kerosene side of the distillation column. I used to have a diesel VW. I had a diesel Jetta, 2002, I think it was. That was the 90 horsepower engine before they bumped it up to 156, and I don't even know what they have now. So the 90 horsepower engine, I could get. Now I have to remember. I would vent the fuel so I could fill the tank more if I was going on a long trip. So you could go, I think I had like 18 gallons. It was a 15-gallon tank, but you could squeeze an extra 3 gallons in there, I think. And I would easily go, I think I was getting like 40 miles per gallon, something insane. I can't remember what the range was. I think I did a 2,200 mile road trip and I only had to fill up twice. So the take home was this. That car was a great car. It could drive forever. And here was the magic. In Phoenix, where I lived, diesel fuel was, I'm going to say, at least $1 cheaper, probably more like $1.50 cheaper per gallon than gasoline. So that was already convenient. Like I'm driving twice the distance per gallon, and the fuel is half-ish the price, like something like half the price. So it was win-win all the way around. So there was a time I had this car for a while, a couple of years. So I already knew it was a great car. Some sort of a supply line, a pipeline that would bring fuel to Tucson in Arizona. And then it would be trucked up, or there was a pipeline that went from Tucson to Phoenix. Maybe that was it. Either way, something broke. So there was like 2 days where there was no resupply of gasoline coming into the Phoenix area. So people flipped out, right? People are gouging, like, "Ooh, I have gasoline. It's $1 million a gallon." So you'd go to a gas station and they had those little hoods on the pumps so that you wouldn't, the handles. So you're like, "Oh, no fuel, no fuel, no fuel." Oh, the diesel pump, green, those are fine because nobody's using diesel. So I'd pull into a gas station. I only had to do it once. So I pull into this gas station near where I was living. And before I turn around, there's like 8 cars behind me lined up. I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting diesel." And then they're like flipping me off. Oh, man. But so I was able to get fuel. It was like $2.75 or something. So my parents were home and they were kind of like close to the empty on the fuel gauge. And my sister lived near her law firm, I think. So I think she drove home and she's like, "I'm getting a little bit low, but I don't have far to drive." So I was like, "Well, I'll tell you what, I got a full tank of diesel. We could drive to New Jersey almost. How about if let's see what's going on with these fuel tankers?" Because we had heard that gasoline was being trucked up from Tucson so that eventually it would start appearing. So it was late night. It was on the second or maybe it was the third day. I can't remember. And so she gets in the car. We got two. I think we had two 5-gallon fuel cans. We may have gone and purchased them even. So we got two 5-gallons, and so we just start heading towards Tucson. We're on the freeway. My sister went to U of A law school, so she's well aware of the area and whatnot. So I don't even know if we drove for a half hour, and we spotted and it was kind of like what's the second Mad Max movie? Well, certainly the Mad Max with the I'm totally spacing on names and movie titles and everything, but Gasoline being the Road Warrior, yeah. So Road Warrior scenario, right? We spotted a tanker, so we exit the freeway, we loop around, get going behind. So we're behind it, and we follow it all the way to a gas station, and we're sitting behind this tanker in the parking in the fueling area of the gas station. So I go up to the guy, gets out of the truck. I'm like, are you delivering here? And he's like, yeah. So I went inside. I'm like, I need 10 gallons of whatever this is. Like, yeah, give it a few minutes to he's got to, transfer it. So we sat there for like 20 minutes, and whatever his delivery was, we were first in line to get the 10 gallons. So we filled up the two 5-gallon tanks. I didn't have to put anything in my car, so we were good. So put 5 gallons in my parents' car, put 5 gallons in my sister's car, mission accomplished. So that was a good time. And the fuel situation was crazy. And the fun part was that Arizona had literally offered a biofueled vehicle tax credit. So you could get like an SUV that would run on liquid natural gas and gasoline, and they would basically pay for it. So everybody did that. A lot of people were driving around their free Lincoln Navigators or whatever. Oh yeah, my car can run on liquid natural gas. But as soon as the gasoline went away, they were freaking out because they're like, I'm not going to put natural gas in my car. So nobody even took advantage of this capability that they got a free car for. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But the take home was people will freak out when gasoline becomes difficult to find, or if it becomes really super expensive. So I'm not looking forward to that. And I'm glad I don't have a car. If that's one thing I would have thought I would miss, but which I do not miss at all, is having a car. But that's it. Anything else? I was debating talking about this, so I'm not going to, but one of the things that really annoys me in general is if people don't understand a joke and they think you are trying to be offensive to them, and then they get pissed off and you're like, what? What's going on? Like, I can't believe you said. I'm like, no, that was a joke, and it's a joke that is actually in your favor. It's not. It's quite the opposite of trying to be not deprecating. I'm not trying to take advantage, or not. What is it? I'm not trying to make you look bad. It's literally a joke that you should find funny, that you should find funny, but instead they flip out about it, and so that's something along those lines happened the other day. And it's like I was bothered and annoyed by it for like 10 minutes. So that's why I'm not even going to go into it anymore. It's behind me. I did nothing wrong. Thank you. And I thought it was a funny joke, but I was in the minority. The what do you call it? NAB show is coming up. I'm going to try to go to that. I really got to get some, so now that the Smarter Smart City Challenge has been put off, we're still going to have monthly meetings. So instead of weekly on Wednesdays, we'll have it first Wednesday of each month. And I'm not going to do the in-person meetings with the coffee. So we really got to get the what do you call it? The in Las Vegas platform up and running. So I need to focus on that. No more messing around. Every good idea I have could feed into this. Not every, but yeah, a lot of them. So it's the fact that I've been trying to get other people, I'm trying to do good things and trying to elevate and accomplish for the greater good. It doesn't matter. Not here. And not lately. So the time, I've said this before too, the time has come, but I really just can't be nice anymore. Time to be a little bit more predatory, I guess, for business. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. That was enough. I got 53 and a half minutes or so. We'll cut that down to closer to 50 with truncation of silence, and that'll be that. Thanks for listening as always. Don't forget to buy me a coffee.com/DanHugo profile page. You'll find links to everything I publish and various things I'm working on and so on. My favorite coffee beans. And that's it. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna cut it short. You should have said that an hour ago, I guess, right? Take care. Bye-bye.